try to make
put the windows.
Well, for this episode of Sittin' with Gittin, I've got my friend, NASCAR champion, fun haver to the core, and I'm going to go ahead and make it official, the best drifter in NASCAR, Joey Logano. Here, we're at the Penzo 400, and I wanted to get some time, hang out with you, catch up with what you've got going on.
Yeah.
You know, Joey and I have become friends over the last few years, and we've done some...
But really, Vaughn's taught me how to drift. It's been the biggest thing. And I always had a little bit of fun in the parking lot, but I didn't really know what I was doing. And then when Mustang unveiled their new Cup car, we had this awesome video where we made a Cup car be able to drift. Vaughn was there with his Mustang, and kind of brought me to the next level a little bit. I'm nowhere near as good at it yet, but at least enough to have a little bit of fun and make it look cool. Well, you called me and you're like, hey, I want to build a drifting NASCAR, because we came out and we played the Penzo 400 and just you drove, I think, this car. We're in the Pennzoil Spec 5, and so you drove this, and then after you're like, hey, I wanted to make one of my NASCARs, because you had your championship car. Yep. You wanted to turn it into a drift car. So we worked with your team and helped give some suggestions on how to do that. And then we made that video, which, by the way, Joey is not scared of anything. Like, I got out and like I'm giving him some tips. Like, first, like, we started doing training in like a box, and I'm like, yeah, you're way beyond the box, so let's go to the track. And so I'm giving you, like, I remember the tips were at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and I'm just kind of like, okay, we were in your car.
Right.
Yeah.
But you were just not scared at all. And then you jumped in your NASCAR, and it's got the big long truck arm. So the thing's got a ton of forward bite. And so
you can say it was faster in your car.
It was faster. It was faster than my demo car.
Okay, there
it was a demo car.
All right.
Got half the horsepower in the grip. And so we're out there, and Joey does his first laps, and I'm just like making sure I'm comfortable with this guy. You know, we're watching him. He's going left and right, so I had to make sure he was good this time. And so he was ripping, and like a couple times in my car, he puckered me up so bad, exiting the wall, like, and he's just like on the Revlin, and the man can drive. It was impressive. It was really, really fun.
They build cars every day, you know. If something happens, they build another one, you know.
When it's not yours.
When it's not yours, you can drive like that. When you own the car, it's a different story.
It was an absolute blast, and so we had some fun with that, and obviously, you know, we're here at the Penzo 400. Last year you didn't you can hear Chelsea, by the way. He's out drifting while we're hanging out and goofing off.
And quite the distraction to want to watch him too. But yeah, so last year didn't quite get to the championship. The previous year, 2018, we got a championship. It was great. Last year finished 5th in points. Not where we want to be. Made a lot of changes at Team Penske, where we switched all the teams around. So there's 3 race teams inside Team Penske, and now, so basically I have what was the 2 car is now the new 22 team, which is the car I drive. So getting to know everybody, getting used to the new ways of communicating and the way they used to set up a car compared to what I'm used to, and kind of going through that. And we're early in the season, you know. Here in Vegas, it's the 2nd race of the year. Yeah. So really new to that relationship, but it's been fun. It's been good. You
won the duel, right?
Yeah, won a duel. Okay,
and then Daytona got crazy.
Crashed with the majority of cars.
Yeah, that was insane. That was insane.
Yeah.
And here we are, Penzo 400. So rain today, so qualifying got canceled.
Yep.
And so you
got a little free time now.
Yeah. So how does that work? Qualifying gets canceled. How do you know where you start?
So early in the race, or early in the season, I believe it's the first 3 races or the first 5, I'm not sure, but they revert back to last year's points if qualifying gets rained out. So we will start 5th in the race tomorrow. So that'll be a decent starting spot. It's close to the front. And the way Vegas works here, you can kind of set up your car 1 or 2 ways. One being trimming it out, taking the drag out of it, and going fast on the straightaway, or adding the downforce and being able to corner back. And it's something that, it's a real dilemma trying to figure this out, because it's tough. There's a lot of parts to think about. If the track cools off, those cars that are trimmed out and don't have much drag will be the ones towards the front. If it's hot and slick, that downforce will pay a huge dividend throughout the race. So you try to make those best decisions you can, build the most efficient car possible.
Sure.
And I think we've made some good decisions. You just don't know until the race starts.
Right. What everyone else has done. Right?
Yeah, we came here in the fall, and during the day it was a night race, but it started during the day. During the day we were lights out. We had a ton of downforce in our car. We led a ton of laps. The sun went down and we got beat. And the cars that were trimmed, and the sun went down, the track grips up. The trimmed cars really showed up.
Sure. Well, that's interesting. Like I'm still learning a lot about NASCAR. There's so many intricacies. Like a lot of people think that you guys just out, other motorsport. These guys are just out there turning left. Man, like I've had the opportunity to come to Penske, obviously have a relationship with the guys at Roush Yates, and I've been just so blown away with the technology and the little minute things you guys are doing, millimeter here, millimeter there on the bodies and things like that. It's so insane.
Small, but it's just like anything. When you bring it to that level, right? Like, you can drift around in this parking lot here outside of the racetrack. That's one thing, right? But when you go to compete, it's a whole different level, right? Your car, we just talked about earlier, your competition car is completely different than your demo car, right? Because you've brought everything to that next level.
Sure.
Well, that's what the cup level in NASCAR is all about. It's bringing everything to that elite level. You have the best drivers, you have the best teams in that form of motorsport.
Sure.
Just like you do in Formula Drift, the same deal. The best of the best is what shows up.
Yeah.
And that's what you want to compete against, right?
For sure.
You don't want to win Yeah, you don't want to, don't get me wrong, we love winning anything, right? But beating the best is a whole different story.
Yeah. I do see some guys that seem to go pick on the little...
It's still
guys.
fun.
Yeah.
It's still fun to do every now and then. I don't blame them. I would if I could.
So, what's your, what did you start in? A lot of people want to know, always ask, how do you get to be a pro? What did you start in? What was your path?
Everyone's got an interesting story. I thought your story was very interesting on how you came through it. But for me, I started as a young kid. Loved cars as, a 4 or 5 year old kid that just wanted to play with Hot Wheels all day long. And got a go-kart for Christmas. Santa Claus brought the most awesome gift of all time. And that's all I did when I got home. I didn't want to do anything else but drive. I've tried playing other sports.
What was that gift, sorry?
It's a go-kart.
Okay.
It's a go-kart.
Okay.
And
like a 2 or 3 horsepower deal?
Yeah, like a little go-kart, like a yard cart.
Which was my first. I had a yard cart. That was my first deal.
Yep, and that's all I wanted to do. And so I killed the yard and the neighbors' yards and their mailboxes and sprinkled. I hit some stuff. Yes. I hit plenty. But that's what I wanted to do. I tried playing hockey. I tried playing baseball, and I was mediocre at best. But when I got in a car, I was able to win. And I obviously as competitive as I am.
Yeah, you are.
That was my jam.
By the way, one of the most competitive people that I know. No matter what we've done in playing, there's a level to it.
You just want to be better all the time, right?
Yeah.
And that's what's fun about when we go drifting and stuff, is that it's a new discipline for me, and it's so backwards of what you do at the racetrack for what I'm used to doing, is being smooth and just being very methodical about how your inputs and very technical.
Yeah.
And I was like that when we did that deal at Charlotte with the 2 cars, and Vaughn was in the passenger seat with me, and I remember I was easing to the throttle and all this, and he's hammering that thing.
Yeah.
Hammer it, and it was so backwards to me. So I just didn't think of that, because we don't want to spin our tires.
Sure.
Because we use them up and then we go slower.
Sure.
But for you, it's more smoke and more everything. It's more badass.
Well, the way our cars are hooked up, they actually accelerate when you have more wheel speed.
Yeah.
So,
which is crazy.
So
it's
different.
Backwards for us.
Sure.
So it's my natural thing is to be so smooth and nice and easy with everything.
Yeah.
It's completely different. That's been the most fun thing to get used to.
Yeah.
Because it's backwards for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's right. It's been a lot of fun watching you do that, and for me, I think obviously I'm your friend. I'm a fan of yours, but I think you're very fun to watch, especially when you win. You take it to the next level. I don't know, the Logano loop. Did you dub that, or did someone else dub that?
I think I had a part of dubbing that.
Okay, well, it's so good, because when you won the Pennzoil 400 here 2 years ago, I don't even know if I could do what you did. You were doing 70, 80 down the front straight, and you did a double 360, kept it lit off, and then threw it in on. It was so good.
It's cool. And the first time I did it was kind of by accident. I was just excited.
Most
you know,
people would
win.
not admit that, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was excited, and I was like, man, I don't know. And I just throttled up and hooked it right, and it started doing spins. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So, and so I just been kind of doing that every time. That it's kind of made it my thing. But you know, the way our cars are set up, they have a lot of wedge in it. So, in other words, you know, you turn to the left, it got a lot of wedge, got a lot of bite. But when you turn to the right,
super free,
super loose. Yeah, really loose. So when you turn to the right, that thing wants to spin right out.
Yeah.
So when you do that and you apply a little throttle, you know, with 800 horse, it kicks around, and your tires are old at that point because it's the end of the race. You've used up the good out of it, and boy, it lights up and you get around. So the only problem with it doesn't last long. You know, like, what do you want out of a burnout? You know, do you want something that's gonna last a while, or do you want something that's just really big and
obnoxious and done?
And done. So that's kind of what I do. I always want it to last longer than the tires pop, and that's all I got. But yeah, it's you got a full commit. It's a little sketchy. You don't undo your belts until you're done.
When you won your championship, in fact, your celebration was the most epic celebration I've ever seen in the history of NASCAR. You melted the tires, you shut the car, the radiator's blowing out the top.
Car's on fire.
That's how you end it. Thank you, year. I've worked my butt off all year. I'm out.
Well, most of the time when the tires pop, you stop.
Yeah.
Well, that time I said screw it, and I just kept my foot in it, and it shredded, and it ripped the brake lines out, and then the brake fluid caught on fire.
Oh my god.
And the car's on fire, and you're done, and that's just I mean, it's worth it at that point.
I'm sure Roger was fully understanding of that.
I mean, I felt like if there's ever an opportunity to get away with something like that,
it was when you win the championship.
So too. Yeah,
sweet. Well, we're at the Pennsville 400. I fully expect you holding up that big trophy, and then maybe we'll see Logano Loop.
That would be great. And you know, something special here. They have the Pennsville logo right in the middle of the grass.
Yeah.
And turns out they really like when I did that last year.
Yes.
So we'll go spinning through the grass.
Perfect.
Right through that Pennsville
maybe
logo.
One day we'll see you, you know, enter turn one, you know, during a caution or something, and just flick it sideways, just stay up on the high line. We'll work up towards that.
Yeah, I feel like end of the race moment.
That would be
like
that
when
would
the
be,
race is over.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think
we'll work up to that.
Yeah, that one will be a little harder to get by.
Sick. Well, yo, thanks for coming by, man. Good luck this weekend.
All right, appreciate it.
Have fun.
Thank you. It's fun.
Boom.